of Chesed Duhening, and let's see, we're going to be in.
Good morning. Sorry to interrupt. I forgot to say that it's the 19th of December. This is Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Yeah, we'll be in Chav Gimel, Sif Chav Gimel.
Kuf Chav Ches Chav Gimel. Hold on.
This is in Bet, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Bishar Shehakonim Mevorchim.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I guess if you'd like to read, you could read if you like.
No, Bishar Shehakonim Mevorchim Ha'am. Hold on. Okay. At the time that the Kohanim blessed the people, Lo Yitfu Lo Yisichu Dietum. What is Vitu?
Hebrew, is from the words of Habata. They shouldn't stare. They should look at the Kohen.
Okay, they shouldn't stare, and they shouldn't or not pay attention. You enayim klape mata, their eyes should be pointed to the ground. Excuse me, Moshe Ahmed B'tefillah, as they're standing for tefillah. The ha'am yechavnu lebracha, the congregation should have kavanah on the bracha. V'yu pneim keneged pnei hakohanim, and they should be facing the kohanim below yistalku b'hem, but they shouldn't be staring at them.
You know, if you learn enough Mr. Brewers, you can by looking at people during the davening, you know if they've learned Mr. Brewer or not, right? Depending what they're doing. Like for example, I see many people. Maybe I shouldn't say many people. I see every once in a while. So this person's looking here, this one's working there during the time of the Birkas Kohanim. So obviously they haven't come across these halachas.
Hagav v'gam hakohanim lo yistaku b'yadayim, shouldn't be staring at their hands. I'll call nagu. Okay, therefore, nagu l'shalshel hatalas al panehem. Therefore, the minig is to put the talis over their faces, over their heads and their faces, v'yadeim in their faces. Chutz v'yadeim chutz the talis, and the hands are outside the talis.
Yeah. Go back. That's right. That's the first. Okay. That's the first opinion. Go next. Right.
Okay.
Who's putting the talis over their head? Is that you talking about the congregant, or are you talking about the Kohen?
No, the Kohanim. The Kohanim.
The Kohen puts the talis over his own head, right?
So I'm not following the logic. I thought we were saying
let me finish.
Congregant should not be looking at the Kohen.
Let me finish.
No, I'm not understanding what you're saying so far. I need to understand what's going on.
Because I'm in the middle of a sentence.
Okay, we'll finish the remark, then we'll go over it. Right.
And there are those places, the minhag is that the Kohanim keep their hands under the talis. Shelo yistaku ha'am bahem, so that people won't stare at them.
So we have two different ways of approach here. That the basic thing is that neither the congregants nor the Kohanim should be looking at their hands, right? And the first opinion is that in the Mechaber, you don't have to do anything, right? You don't have to do anything. That they simply don't look, and you're okay. You're okay. The opinions brought in the Ramah are two different opinions. That since even the Kohanim aren't supposed to look at their hands, so that's why that they put their hands outside of the talis, and the talis is over their heads, so they themselves can't see their own hands. And then the third opinion is that the talis is completely over the hands themselves, and so that is to protect apparently the congregants, because if the hands and the head are underneath the same talis, you apparently should be able. They could possibly, if they want, be able to see their hands. Correct, Rebbe Lezer?
Correct.
So we have to understand how the one that one says that the hands are outside the talus, we understand. So the Kohen aren't looking. And then the Yisraelim, they're just gonna have to protect themselves. We'll see more explanation in the Mr. Berura about this. It'll come even more clear. Okay.
I have a question. I remember when my children were little
Right.
and they would come into, for Birkos Kohanim, we would take the talus and I would cover them up. Was that primarily to keep them from staring at the Kohanim? Because I noticed that adults, when they have no children with them, they rarely cover themselves with the talus.
Right. We'll see. If I'm not, the Mr. Berura will bring down that what some do it this way, some do it that way. In general, you'll do it for the children because they're not going to really be so careful not to look. It's something very interesting, especially if it's only on Yom Tov. You know what I mean?
Right.
And,
Gotcha.
So they're going to be very interested in looking. So therefore, to protect the children, you cover them with the talus. But even there are some, as you said, there are some adults that are also considering for their own protection.
Mayor, are you online?
Is anything unclear, Lou, at this point?
Yeah. Are we saying that both the congregants and the Kohanim are covering themselves with their taluses?
Well, right now in the Mechaber and in the Ramah, we have no point mentioned about the congregants. It's only reference that the Kohanim cover themselves. It's only a question, how much are they covering themselves? Their whole body and not the hands, or even the whole of the hands as well. But there's no mention about the congregants covering themselves up. We'll see mentions of this in the Mr. Berura. He'll mention this.
I see. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Mayor, are you there? No.
Not
Okay.
yet. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Here Mayor comes.
Here's Barry. Here's Mayor. Oh, the gang's over here. Everyone's here.
Here, the gang's over here.
Okay, Mayor, I have
Sorry,
a question.
guys, I just have a lot of work to do.
Mayor, I have a question for you.
Okay,
You're jumping into the middle of this just based on the Mishna Berura we're doing. Have you ever duchened in a place where the Kohanim did not cover their hands with the talus?
I have never done that,
Okay,
but I will tell you one thing. I learned to duchen in a conservative synagogue, and I don't know if he has a source or whatever, but the rabbi of the synagogue said, and I never did this, but he said that if the Kohen, he would like the Kohanim to show their fingers, or to show their hands while they duchen.
Oh,
I never did that.
that's Mishna Berura right here. It's the Ramah. First.
Oh, well, I
Ramah
didn't
right
open
here.
my Mishnah Brewer yet. So
Ah,
I just got in. I'm doing so much work around the house.
Okay. well,
Oh, so the Mishnah
Okay.
Brewer says that.
but actually, it's the Ramah. The Ramah actually says, take a look. If you want, you can review Chav Gimel if you want. Take a minute, and for you
Sure.
and Barry, you can review Chav Gimel.
sure, okay,
Again, that's in Kuf Chav Ches, Sif Chav Gimel. You
okay.
have it there, Barry, as well?
Chav Gimel, right? In the Mechaber?
In the Mechaber, exactly.
In the Mechaber.
Okay,
You can read it over if you want with Elias.
sure, no problem. B'shasha Kohanim mevarchin ha'am, when the Kohanim are blessing the people, they shouldn't, the Kohanim themselves should not turn away, and they should not, their mind shouldn't wander. Their eyes should be down, as they're saying during tefillah, the bracha, and the congregation should be paying attention to the bracha. And they should be facing the kohanim. But they should not be staring at the kohanim. Haga, ima kohanim, v'gam HaKohanim lo yistaku b'yedehem. The Kohanim should not be staring at their own hands. Al kein nagu l'shalshel hatalis al pneihem. Therefore, the minig is to cover their faces with their taluses, v'yedehem chutz talis, and their fingers should be outside the talus.
Outside.
Outside. Yesh mekomos sheyedehem bifnim mina talus. And in those places where the hands are inside the talus, sheyetalka am behem, so that the congregation should not stare at them.
Oh, do you see there, Mayor?
So what is it saying? That it's permissible to have the hands out, but you should not do it?
No, it says that there's some places keep their hands out and some places keep their hands covered. Depends where you come from and what they do there.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
both equally right, depending where you are.
But it sounds like it's more of a minig Ashkenaz to cover the Kohanim to cover their hands, and not necessarily minig Sfard.
Right, according to the Mechaber, there's no mention of any covering of the hands, correct?
Okay.
Right, no mentioning of the hands. All the thing is you shouldn't look, don't look, just don't look. All right. Okay, I guess let's start with Peiches, and we'll
Okay.
start to see, I think Peiches, right?
Yeah, Peiches. Shama b'tefillah, as one is standing for tefillah. Sharei mispalin sheyivarach ashlik Hashem Yisparach Es Yisrael. The people are asking or praying for Hashem to bless Yisrael. Okay, below you talk about him, you shouldn't stare at them, staring at the fingers of the Kohanim. Excuse me. Ratzalomer lo bifnei Kohanim velo b'yadeim, not at the faces of the Kohanim and not at their hands. V'tamhu gam kain kidei shelo yisich daitu mi b'bracha. And the reason in both of these cases is that people should not have their minds wander from the bracha. V'im kain kamosha kosov. Kosher kain. Okay, im kain. Certainly, shalois talku b'makom aki. You shouldn't stare at another place. Medina, and in the countryside or outside of Yerushalayim.
No, well, yeah, that's if you're referring to like the basic meaning, but Medina means according to the law.
Oh, Medina. Okay, okay. Medina, according to the law, eno aser ella behistaklos meruba. It's the din is it's only to really, I guess, to really stare at them. Sheyachol lavoli day hadas, because then your mind is going to wander. Of our rare katsas, just to look at it a little bit, shari is mutter. The dafka bisman mikdash is specifically the time when the base of mikdash was standing. Shahayu mevarkin b'shem meforish, because the Kohanim would bless the people with the Shem meforish. Shkina hayasa shira al yedehem. At that point, the Shekhinah was resting on their hands as they were benching the people. Aydem haya aser. Then it was aser afil ria katsas. Even I'm sorry, I conjugated that badly. Okay, ria katsas shari. V'dafka b'zman mikdash shahayu mevarkin kishem b'shem meforish. And specifically in times of base of mikdash, when the Kohanim would say the Shem Meforish when they were blessing the people, Shehashkina Haisa Shur al Yedehem, and the Shekhinah was resting on their hands. Haya Asher Afilu Rir Katsas. At that point, it would be also to even look at their hands a little bit because the Shekhinah was there. Masha Ein Kain Bizman Azeh, which is not the case in the current time. Umikol Makom, period. Mikol Makom Nogim Gam Akshav Zechel Mikdash, and now we only do it as Zechel Mikdash. Shlo Hatiach Behem Klal. What's Avit?
You shouldn't look at them at all. Meaning, again, the only time it was forbidden to even glance at the hands of the Kohen was when we had the Beis Hamikdash and they were Meforach with the Shema Meforish. And the Shechina was
Okay.
actually right there. So you couldn't even glance at the hands of the Kohen. But this Manazeh, where there's no Shechina, so really, as long as you're not going to actually intently stare at the hands of the Kohen, a glance would be okay.
Okay.
The only reason for that is custom, correct?
Yeah,
Right, that's right.
okay. The Gamma Kohanim and also the Kohanim. Gam ze mishum chesed daito ukanal. And this is also so that their mind shouldn't wander. Im kein nogu, therefore we're noeg. Minig ze yoter nachon, and this minig is certainly very correct. And that would be
They're covered with the talus, right? To cover
covered with the
Kohen
talus.
to cover with the talus.
Okay. Videim chutz the talus, and the hands would be outside the talus. What's Beis Daled Mem?
That it's going to be the darky Moshe Moses.
The Darkei Moshe, the Darkei Moshe adds, Shagam ha'am noagim lekasos pneihem, have a minute to cover their faces with the talus, kadei shalo yachul hastel biyad kohanim, that they're not able to stare at the hands of the kohanim.
Right, so you see here the reason why the here's where the Mr. Brewer brings that the Darkei Moshe says that also the congregants would cover their faces with their talus in order they should not come to stare at the hands of the Kohen.
Okay. But it sounds like, according to Darkei Moshe, that even adults without children should do that also.
That's right. Apparently, that's the point. Even the not just the children. Right.
Okay, so my question is, do you find many places where the without children do cover their heads with the talus? I haven't seen it, so I'm just wondering.
Some people do, some people don't. Most people don't.
Okay, I'm just wondering, it was like, if you did it, would it seem, I don't remember the right term for it, like to be overly frum to do something like that.
Mixikiyura.
Yeah.
Mixikiyura. That's a good question. The Shagama Noyagim. And if something is allowable according to halakha, then it's really not mixikiyura
Okay,
in general.
okay.
I could look for it. And means we'll continue on. I'll see. Let's take a look we'll have to go to the Machaber now. 1 second. And in the meantime, I can take a look and see if there's any other further commentary on this.
Okay, somebody else want to take over? Don't all jump at once.
Okay. Would like to do a little reading. We're going to the Machaber and Chaf Daled now.
Chaf Daled. Okay, so it says, Am she'achorei hakohanim einam b'klal bracha aval milifneihem uvetzidehem afilu mechitza shel barzel eina mafseket. Okay, so what? So that what the people?
Right.
After.
That actually, literally, that they're behind the Kohanim.
Oh, are behind the Kohanim. Okay, are behind the Kohanim. They don't say a bracha.
No, they're not covered by the bracha.
Oh, they're not.
Wow.
Oh, if they're behind. Oh, I saw. Whoa.
Well, usually in I know in my shul, everybody who is behind them moves to the, to the front, further in front of the Kohanim.
Well,
Barry,
what
that
it
is a
that's
pra-
what-
They
Exactly.
leave their seats.
Yeah,
That's the practice now, but I do remember 20, 25 years ago, it was not always a common practice. And people, especially people on the side that were on the side and in front of the Kohanim wouldn't move. The practice is I've definitely seen the practice change in the last 25 years.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are much more observant about this now.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see anything because my head is covered.
Well,
Okay.
that'll teach you.
You're not missing anything.
But I know what Eliezer's talking about. Okay. So let's see. So they don't say the bracha. Okay.
No, they're not. It's not that you don't say the bracha. They're not covered by the bracha.
They're not covered by the bracha, right? But in front of them and to their side, even if there's a mechitza of iron,
Right.
Eina mafseket. It's not mafseket.
It doesn't divide.
Oh.
If you're as long as you're in front of the Kohanim, it doesn't. Even if it's a wall between you and the Kohanim, that does not prevent you from receiving the bracha.
Oh.
That includes, I'm sure, the women behind their mechitza.
Correct.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So this expression, Mechitza shel barzel, refers to a wall?
Yes, that's right. Literally, it's an iron barrier or a fence or a wall.
But this is
Okay.
the phrase that is translated usually as the Iron Curtain.
Well, yeah, they sort of got involved there. Yeah.
Interesting.
Thank
Okay.
you, Ronald Reagan.
Well, achoreihem name imheim anusim kigon am bashadot.
Shebesados that are working in the field. They're not in
in the
shul.
fields.
They're not
Okay.
in shul. They're working in the fields.
In the fields. Okay. Haim trudin bim lachtan veinan yecholim lavo haim biklal habracha. Okay. So the achoreihem. What, and the others also?
Right.
Like
If you're
behind
if you're behind the
them,
Kohanim,
Oh,
those
behind, right. Those behind.
but you're not in shul and avoiding it. You're out of shul and you're working. If you have a
Right.
reason not to be in shul, you're still covered by the bracha. It's only the people who dafka could be there and don't that have the problem.
Right.
The people who are outside of shul, they have to be, so to speak, in the direct line.
No. No.
Someone who's out in the field is behind the Kohanim, so to speak, geographically. So they're not getting the bracha?
No, they are. If you're outside of shul because you're working, okay, that does not remove you from the bracha. If you're in shul and specifically not going in front of the Kohanim when you could, okay, that's when you're removed from the bracha. Because you're bedafka not standing in front of them. People are out in the fields. They're out in the fields. They don't,
Yeah.
Right. They're not there. You'd ask them where are they for davening? I mean, people should daven Shacharis, no?
Well, they
right,
daven,
if they have to work, they might not have time to go to shul.
they daven
Right.
be.
Exactly. That's the Gemara and Brachas, right? They even shorten the Birkas Hamazon for the sake of the workers who are working, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's see. So, okay, imheim anusim. So what if they're forced? Yes,
Yeah, they're in a situation beyond their control. Right?
beyond their control. Okay. as Lauren said, in the fields, they're busy working of Einam, and they're not able to come. Hein b'klal habracha. So the bracha still pertains to them, I guess.
Yep.
Okay.
So this
Very
bracha
interesting.
kind of radiates out from the shul in a big circle.
Sure.
Exactly how it travels, I'm not sure, Lou. I don't know. I try and be in shul when they Kohen and giving the brachas, and I'm usually not looking any place else. Like I'm supposed to concentrate on the bracha, so I don't see where the bracha goes to. But
Let's also, the Kohanim also, how can I say? You know,
Yeah.
at certain parts when I think the words end in cha, you know, the you, the Kohanim move their hands sort of circular, you know, around the congregation in front of them. So that might cover the people on the side too.
What's your kavana? Is your kavana that you're blessing all the people out in the fields or just the people in the shul?
No, my kavana is blessing everyone. But
Very good, very good. That's right. You have kavana for everybody, and then in fact the bracha will cover everybody if they're in Oinus, if it's beyond their control to be in shul at the time. Correct.
So it could be a person working in the field. If there's 3 or 4 shuls, they could get a bracha from the 6 o'clock minyan, the 7 o'clock minyan, and the 8 o'clock.
That's right.
Sure.
No, seriously.
yeah. No.
But everybody else would get that too.
Right. You could.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but yeah, well, yeah, wherever you are, right?
Look, you could go to the Nation Torah website and go to their camera that's covering the the Kaisel Maravi, the Kaisel, and you can tune into the Birkas Kohanim the whole morning through. Right?
Charge for that?
No, they don't charge. You can go to the website. You go to the camcorder on the Western Wall. Okay.
Okay.
Now, we have a couple of minutes left. Let's continue a few more lines, maybe.
Okay, so what were we? Kaf Dalid, Mishna Berura. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, Kaf Dalid. Okay. So Am she'achorei haKohanim. So those behind the Kohanim. Hainu afilu eina achoreihem mamash ela mishuchin litzadadim. Said period. That's a comma. So hainu afilu. So what here?
Even if they're not direct, even if I feel Achareim Mamish, they're not directly behind the Kohanim.
Oh, even not directly. Oh,
Yeah.
but Meshuchim, but okay, towards the sides. It
Yeah,
looks like.
right. They're directed off to the sides.
Okay. Kevan she'akol panim hu me'achoreihem. Okay. So since what they're not facing, the ones behind them.
Yes, since nevertheless that they are not facing them, they're not included in the bracha.
So that reminds me of my one experience where I duchen that the Kota Hamaravi during Chol Hamoed Sukkot.
Right.
And there seemed like there were thousands of Kohanim there. If some poor soul got stuck, davening at the wall while all those Kohanim were there, they didn't get the blessing.
Well, he's in an oinus. He's trapped. Right?
He's really trapped. Yeah. There's no way anyone could move
That's right.
I think I told you, I took the shoes off, I slipped them off. And I had to literally stand on them because there was no room to stand off of them,
Mhm. Were you able to pick up your hands?
Yeah, I was able to pick up my hands, but it felt like, we were bumping into each other as we were moving.
I'm sure. Yeah.
It's an amazing experience, but
Yeah.
I told my son, I don't think I'm going to do that again.
That's it.
Why not? Why not?
Well, first of all, it's a bit of a walk to get there. Although I guess
It's
during
Holomoid, you can take a bus.
during Holomoid, yeah, that's true. That's true. No, maybe I'll reconsider, Eliezer.
Okay.
That's probably on Holomoy. They have one. I think it's the Yom Hamishi of Holomoy. They have it's known to be that's the Birkas Kohanim day. That's usually when it's the most crowded. You can go if you want on other days of Sukkot, and in Pesach also they have it as well. But I think it's less than those thousands and thousands of Kohanim.
Right, right.
Uh-huh.
We were there for it once during Pesach. It really is amazing.
Yeah.
The whole courtyard is full.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, we'll have to stop for today, and we'll continue with this. We'll repeat again. We'll go over the Machaber and the Mishna again tomorrow because it's
Okay,
detailed.
so that will be at
tomorrow, Mitzvah.
Kaf Dalet. Okay, very
Hey,
good.
Lou, which is the link for Rabbi Levitt? Which is the link for Rabbi Levitt today?
The link for Rabbi Levitt is here. I'm hosting because Rabbi Levitt's not here.
Oh, so just stay on.
Just
Okay,
stay
very
on.
good. That's why I asked the question. Thank you.
Your questions, Eliezer Tzvi, I wanted to ask you a question. You're planning to be with us for a while yet?
I will be here through till, looks like mid-March at this point.
Oh, okay, very good, very good.
It'll be only Sundays and Tuesdays, but I'll be here through till mid-March.